We went short with my M8 a few days ago, went down from a 162 to a 141. And I like the anti-slash kit, but many of you were not near as big a fan with this tunnel as I was. So today on Six's Backcountry, chop chop. This fuel gauge had better work. Whew, okay, good. Last video I just did with this thing was with the fuel gauge flashing. So if you're having that issue and you know you have like a full tank of fuel, I have the fix kit for you right here. Now that our short track is in there, I'm looking at the tunnel and I'm just kind of figuring it out, marking it out where I think I'm gonna want to cut this thing. It'll be in here by the label area somewhere, but I just don't know where just yet. I'm working on figuring out how short that tunnel needs to be because I think would like a snow flap on it. I've also had this Raceworks bumper sitting around the shop for ages. I've tried pretty much every which way to line this thing up so we can cut it and use it, but it's just not going to happen. So it is a 162 bumper, but because I'll need to cut it so far back, I'll need to have it sit more like that. And the problem is those structural rivets back there, those need to be there. Those need to be hanging onto the bumper because they're actually a big part of the structure of the unit. So there's just nothing there, like where these should be, for those 4 rivets up there to hold on to it. So I was really hoping we could use this, but it's just not going to be anything that's going to work out for us. I'll just use the stock bumper, easy to cut back. And I can also cut the bent spot out of the tunnel that's like right about there. I mean, I could make that Raceworks bumper work if I really wanted to with some like welding and some custom mounting, but by that time, stock bumper is just fine for now. Here's the bent part right in here. Not too bad, but it might be like a little bit of hammer time. Yeah, I don't even remember when I did that. The only part that sucks with this is I'm going to have to then be mounting a straight piece of bumper to a bent piece of frame. I want to take care of that first though, because the skid in this thing is not sitting quite right. So we'll straighten out the frame first and then we'll worry about our mounting. Actually, that's actually sitting pretty nice. I thought that the front of the skid here, like all on this part here, was all sitting up, like the sled was trying to do some push-ups, but that is actually, it's pretty good. One thing we can do to get the front of that skid down a little further, there's actually a hidden hole right here through one of the pieces of plate aluminum, so we can drop the front end of the skid down just a little bit more. So for the rails on the 162, this tab actually sits up like another inch or so for your front arm suspension. So this tends to be like a little bit of a lower setup. Okay, so that's not actually near as bad as I thought it was. Ideally, if the rails are up like a little bit in the back, that's okay. That doesn't hurt my feelings as them being like tilted up in the front so much. Okay, I'm gonna get to work on this tunnel and bumper and get them chopped up. I'll drop the back of the skid and I'm putting on my headphones and I am time-lapsing it because it's about 100 little rivets. I remember Kat used to give us 0.2 to replace a bumper on one of these, to replace a bumper like this. That's 12 minutes. Because it's just a whole bunch of drilling and cutting out rivets, and it takes a little bit of time to do. Minutes. F that 12 minutes. Funnest job ever. There we go, got the bumper off. Tunnel sitting at a little bit of an angle here. So we have to take the bumper off because we have to cut the tunnel on the back, but we have to cut the bumper on the front. I'm trying to figure out right now how long I want to make this thing. Okay, there we go. I think I'm pretty happy with this thing right about there. Where the bumper used to sit when we had the 162 was like right at the end of the lugs on the track. So if I take it to there, the bumper will actually sit in a little bit. So it'll be a little bit of a cut, and it's not too aggressive. I do want to cut the tunnel here. I just don't want to get carried away with it. Well, instead of going all the way up under the fuel tank to pull it, this is something you can do, as long as you know which way your wires go in. I don't usually recommend doing this because people usually screw it up and break their connector. But behind each of these little pins, tiny little clamp, you can kind of feel it. So I kind of use one tool to hit that clamp, then I'll use another to pull each pin out. Little clamps right in there at the bottom. There are 1mm tools for this. I use 2 screwdrivers. Just be careful you don't break any of the clips in there or anything. The taillight harness up and out of the way so we don't have a whoopsie. And this guard just took right off because we don't need it. I might use this end, but I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna put the cut, I think, right about here because that should give me enough space to get that bumper on. The skid's not fully mounted, but it's gonna be where it's gonna be. So I just marked out here. This is where we're gonna cut. This is how much tunnel we're gonna lose. Actually, I'll be cutting right here. This is about where the back of the bumper will be sitting. So it'll be in a little bit from the track, but not too much. All right, I'm gonna see how good I am at coloring in the lines. This is gonna be the part that scares a lot of people, but I've got 2 spare bumpers and a spare tunnel just kicking around here, so I'm not worried. Whoa! I put this on a little bit differently, and the reason I did that was because of the snow flap. It allowed me to angle it a little bit more by putting this bracket on top of the tunnel instead of beneath it, which allows me to kick the snow flap back a little bit more. And yeah, I'm kind of making it up as I go along. I'm figuring out what's going to work for me. I do have some more cleanup to do back here, but she's looking good. So, we do have the cat snow flap on the wall. Polaris? Huh? It'll be kicked out a little further. That should work. Okay, now we know what length we're going with. Time to fit the bumper. And that's right about it fits in the stock position. Maybe we'll leave it like that. Big grab handle. Okay, at this point, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what I'm doing now, so I'll show you everything I've done when I'm done. I'm just making it up as I go, figuring out what's gonna work. When you get to reinstalling pins for your taillight, as long as you've done it right, like you took them out without breaking anything, all you do is just squeeze these back in and they'll clip in. Wow, that, I never thought I'd see this sled turn into that. It's evolving, only backwards. Let's go check out the before and after. Ah, it looks cool. I bet it looks cool. Nice thing about this setup is if I rip off that tunnel or the rails or the track on like a rock or like Sean's truck or whatever, I've got spare rails and spare tunnel over here just hanging out. I should have painted this first, but I didn't really even know how it was going together as I was doing it. But I think on the shelf, I've got some nice Chevy white that'll just blend right in. I would really like a snow flap on this thing, but everything changed so much. I think that would probably be like a trip over to Sled Parlor and we'll just look around and find something I like and something that we can cut up to make it fit. I'm pretty happy actually with the way things are going. Looks cool. These bolts on the side I don't have all the way in yet because guess what? We gotta take the skid out again. I mean, it looks kind of weird, but I like it. I always like weird stuff though. I may even take the skis out a peg. I'm not sure right now. I've got a lot of changing with suspension and stuff to do, so I'm gonna do all that off camera because I think it's gonna be a lot of trial and error. Then once it's all put together, I'll show you what I did. Now that everything is all in and together, I just need a little bit of time to work things out, mainly with the suspension, and I'll get it all cleaned up. My phone is telling me once again, I only have like less than a minute of record time left. So thanks everybody for watching this video. We'll see you very soon in the next one. We'll be out sledding soon. I don't know what the next video will be, but I'm super happy for this early snowfall we got here in Alberta. I just need to patch this thing up now. And the truck. Thanks everybody for watching. See you in the next video.